Good morning, you fantastic individuals. Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries so you guys can become better traders. So we're going to start off the session by saying I was wrong. Okay, we got a couple people that says that anyways, Mr. Frank, and then we got another guy over on YouTube. I guess simply because Bitcoin broke down and is now back up into the range. Look at this over here. Look at all of that price. You tell me if it's, possible for me to know where direction is going, where price is going. It isn't. It is simply not. Not one single individual in the world knows what price is going to do. We get these areas where there are higher probable scenarios, right? And then we take those entries. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. You're going to get stopped out. This is trading. One thing I do not ever do is tell you to short into support. In fact, I tell you the absolute opposite. But first and foremost, I'm not a signal service. What I say is what I am doing, what I am looking at, helping you guys to understand, where are the better areas to look for trade entries inside of the chart. But I have said from over 4 billion times that I do not know where price is going. Therefore, I cannot be wrong. I can only be stopped out. There's a difference. If I am right and I make money on a trade, that does not mean I am right. It just means I took an entry at a high probable area and it worked out. That's it. That is it. And mathematically, if you do that enough with good areas, you can become profitable over time. One thing you would not want to do is short into support or even short the breakdown or buy the breakout. Everybody that got long up here was wrong. All the way back down to the bottom edge of this pattern. Everybody that got short underneath this was wrong because now price is back up here. But since March 21, today is April 21, my account in KuCoin has nearly tripled, up almost 290% of profitable returns, getting long here, taking profits here, getting short here, taking profits here. So if that's being wrong, I will consistently be wrong all the time because that's what I do. Now, no, seriously though, Bitcoin's back up. And it damn sure is. It's right back up into the range. I thought we would see range resolution once we broke down. We're not getting that. We're getting price going right back up in there. There were a lot of technical indicators, stochastics, MACD, you name it. Everything except the RSI was pegged at oversold on this push lower, on the daily time frame even. All right? You do not short when that's going on. That's not a time to short. That's a time to wait for the bounce and then look for resistance. Will resistance form? I have no clue. I cannot answer that. Here is old support. You did test it yesterday. You did pull back yesterday, but with today's price action, it looks like it wants to proceed. So be careful. And I have also said on this right here, oh, not this one, but the other one, where I said, if you think this is an inverse head and shoulders, because all of the assets, all of your risk assets, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the SPX, all of those were showing inverse head and shoulders, right? I posted that. If you want to be bullish, right here, right? All of these things were showing a potential bullish signal. And if you want to be bullish, wait for price to get back above the 21 on a daily. That's what I said. Here we are. Are you above the 21 on a daily? No. Are you attempting to get above the 21 on a daily? Yes, you are. Am I going to take a short here? No. Why not? All right, let's go look at this. This is your SPX. Here's your 21 on the daily. You did close above it yesterday. Yesterday, you closed above it. Today, you're getting bullish continuation. Would you buy this? No. Why? Because you're into resistance. So wait for a pullback. If you pull back, watch for support. Will it hold? Will it be support? I don't know. Will it go up? I don't know. Right? That's trading. If you can't do that, or if you took the trade and you got stopped out and you need to blame me, that's fine too. Right? You're never going to learn that way, but you can. I don't care. All right. But yeah, this looks good. This looks constructive. You're into resistance. So be careful. We're at a turning point. Could this have potentially been the bottom for a while? Could we potentially see a bullish move on Bitcoin, on the NASDAQ, on the Dow Jones, on everything? Yes. Tesla had good earnings yesterday. We're coming into earnings season. Good earnings can absolutely make the S&P 500 go higher. Are we still out of the woods for a bearish move? No. The Fed has only hiked once. They got 6 more hikes to do this year. The war is still going on. There is no peace talks. And there's more, right? You still had the inverse or the cross on the 10 and 2 year. There's a lot of bearish signals out there. So can price go up in a bearish scenario? Absolutely. What is more likely right now? Price bouncing around back and forth, left and right, up and down for the next 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen, guys. We don't. None of us do. None of the guys on Twitter know. They have their Glassnode data. That stuff is nothing more than another indicator. And there are a lot of indicators saying price is going to do this, but even the indicators are wrong on occasion, right? So if you want to be bullish on Bitcoin, which is what I said when price was down here, then wait for this. And if you got to wait on it, you have to. You cannot get long right here because it could simply take out yesterday's high and roll right back over. Is it going to continue to go up? We'll see. If it does get above that, I will switch my bias from short to long, and I will only be targeting the next area of resistance, which is up here. I am a day trader. I am looking to capitalize on each one of these little daily candles. Each one. I do not take a trade in every single day, but I do look for those higher probable areas. You are testing resistance. If you were to get short here, would that be wrong if you get stopped out? The answer is no, right? The answer is no, because price went on higher, but it is potential resistance. We know it is because yesterday reacted to it. So we're watching Bitcoin right now. We're not making any moves because of the SPX breaking out above its 21 on the daily. Is it possible for SPX to break a 21 on the daily and then roll over again 4 days from now after a bullish impulse? Yes, absolutely. Nobody knows what price is going to do ever. Here is your DXY on the weekly. You have retested last week's open. Not so great. Not so great for the near term, but you are into potential support. You are still structured bullish. This can just be a pullback. If this thing finds support and starts to go higher again, then we're probably going to be looking for more downside on the risk assets. But it's still, this is just an indicator because they are not 100% correlated. So the DXY can go up the same day, so can the SPX, so can the Dow, so can Bitcoin, so can everything. Just get a feel of the overall market. That's all I do. And then I look for higher probable areas to take those entries. Took an entry last night on Bitcoin trying to test the Asian session. It did not work out. Did not work out. Did we get stopped out? I didn't. I closed the trade once we got an hourly close above the level. We were watching for it to potentially roll over. But it looks like on the intraday charts that this thing wants to push on. So just be careful. Last night we were watching this. Where was it exactly? See, well, first off, we had this move right here, tested resistance, and you had a breakdown, and then we closed below this section, this consolidation's support. All right. This first candle didn't, this one did. Okay, so now what we were watching for is we were watching for the daily to hold here. This daily bullish candle. That is the level we were watching last night. When we got up in here, we started a reaction, and then this baby right here occurred. This one. So once that happened, I said, screw this, I'm out. Don't like it, because if it was going to roll over, it should have done it right there, or it would have been a good spot to do it right there. It can still do it. It could do it anywhere up here. It can go strafe these highs and then roll over, or it doesn't have to roll over. Come on, man. Cut me a break. All right. Here you go, though. So once we closed above this, we were done. We were done with the short. We're going to let it build in a range. What I mean by that is something like this. This is a built-in range. Couple days trading at a specific region. Same scenario up here. A day or two, maybe 3. And then you get a breakout to the upside, which was a trap. You know what I mean? We're going to wait on that. We're going to wait for the range to build. You're probably going to get resolution on this today, maybe tomorrow, if it wants to hold above the 21 on the exponential or on the daily chart, the 21 exponential on the daily chart. So how we can play this is simple. If you want to be bearish right here, because let me be clear, this is not a massively bullish reaction at all. This is a very small range bullish candle. It just happens to be bigger than these, but it's not bigger than this one. And that's last week's entire range. So in one day, you put in the entire weekly range and then chopped around sideways. So here's the weekly open right there. You tested it yesterday. You haven't broken out yet. You haven't made a weekly bullish engulfing, but it does look like it's trying to do so. And on the SPX, you do have a weekly bullish engulfing right there. Took out the low, took out the high. So no matter where you stand right now, you have a bullish engulfing range on the weekly time frame for SPX, right? See how your 21 exponential moving average on the weekly is right here too? See how you're testing the 50 on the RSI here on a weekly, daily? Today you're above it. You were testing it 2 days ago. Yesterday you got above it. That's a close above. So you have to give more credence back to the bullish side. If you cannot stand choppy moves like this, then you need to find a different thing to play around with, because trading isn't going to be for you. These things can do anything and everything, guys. But right now it does look like it's trying to make this reversal happen. Bullish continuation. Another thing on Bitcoin, which I have said multiple times, is this made a new high. You took out this price action right here, right? So that's a higher high. If this finds support down here without taking out this stuff, then you have a higher low. Higher high, higher low. So on the very near term, the trend is up. And if you go back and watch 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about this, I said, this is a breakout to the upside on your 21 exponential moving average. As of right now, until you take out this candle's range with bearishness, you can look at this as an impulse correction. And then I drew a big green candle on there. Impulse, right? That's if you're bullish. This is where you look to get long and support. I'm not bullish, so I didn't take the bullish entry down here. I was short. I got short up here. I wanted to see it break down and continue. I didn't get what I wanted. So yesterday I got stopped out for a profit, right? Because we got short here. Then we took another short entry here. So my cost basis was lower. Oh, sorry, here's where we took the second entry. Cost basis came down to here, and I threw my stop just over this little green candle at 42K. Yesterday stopped me out. Boop. Took my short position out of the market. So I am standing by with cash, ready to strike. But I got to see what I want to see in order to take an entry. If we get above this, I will be bullish, but I will not be like extremely bullish. We got to take out the yearly high. This is the yearly high. For bullish continuation, you got to take that out. I'm not going to wait for price to get all the way up there to get long. We can get long if this thing stays above the 21 and then pulls back in and finds support. That's where we're going to be looking for bullish entries, and we will be targeting longer term the yearly high. But anywhere in this impulse leg to the downside, this thing can find resistance and roll right back over all the way up to 45 or 44, 538. There's your 618 retracement, right? This is your wick low down here, has not been tested. Let's get rid of this and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This wick low, boom, has not been tested. There's your breakdown. Did not come back for a retest. So even though the 21 is right here, price could go all the way up there and then roll over. We don't know what it's going to do, ever. It'd be nice if we did, guys. If I knew what price was going to do, I would call up Johnny Depp right now and say, hey, bro, you know that island you own? I'll go ahead and buy that from you because you could use the money. Yeah, so like, that's what we're going to do. Right now, we're watching to see if this thing wants to hold as resistance. I thought the range would break down. It did, but then it came right back up into it. A line chart, you did break down your back end. We call that choppiness, right? Consolidation, inside range trading. Look to sell resistance, look to buy support. That's as good as I can do for you. Not a signal service at all. I don't even do that in the Discord, right? I tell people when I'm taking trades, sometimes, not always, but I'm not a signal service, guys. I want you to learn how to do this yourself. You were wrong, unsubbed. See, even Ray left me. You guys are killing me. Chat's killing me. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But we're going to watch to see if this thing breaks out. If it does get above that, then we will be looking for support. I still don't like it, and I won't like it, because I know the Fed's cut. I know they're hiking rates. So the market is just going to be crazy and difficult to deal with. Not looking for any long-term moves as a day trader. I try to give you what I think is going to happen for the long term, but yeah, it's never going to be 100% accurate. I am accurate a lot, and we did call the top of the market up here. So like, yeah, finding out if it's going to break down out of this range, a little difficult, and it hasn't done it yet. So as long as it's trading inside or underneath your 2022 high, you're range bound and bearish. There's nothing wrong about that. The candle is red, bro. There's your yearly candle. It's red. So until you get above this white line, you're gonna be red. And red is difficult. It makes it difficult to trade. But right now, I mean, we'll see what happens. All right. Keep in mind that the SPX did close above its 21, and it does look like it wants to keep going. Keep in mind that the DXY is pulling back. DXY hit, prices that it hasn't seen since last March 2020, pandemic. We hit those levels of pricing on the DXY. So that means your entire down move of 2020, 2021 have been completely retraced. So that's difficult to trade. Well, this wasn't if you just got long and held it, but knowing what it's going to do it's impossible. So DXY is pulling back. DXY don't look too bearish just yet. Did take out last week's high, but you're only testing last week's open currently. So you haven't made like a bearish engulfing or anything like that yet. Bearish engulfing, does it technically mean that it's going to roll over? Not always, but it is a decent signal. So we'll watch to see if this week, there's 2 days left on it. If it closes as an engulfing, then yeah, we'll probably look for near-term shorts on the DXY, or in other words, we'll be looking to get long on the Euro USD. I hate buying or trying to pick bottoms on a market, and that's what you're doing right now. That's why it's difficult to trade intraday. This thing is stretched out to the downside. It's finding a long-term area of support, closed below it, and then you're right back up. You know what that's called? A trap. We discuss that all the time. There's your weekly trap to the downside. Have you taken out last week's high? You are damn close to doing it, right? There. Nope, you did it. So you do have a trap on your hands just because you barely closed below support there. So I don't know if it continues to go higher. The trend is down. But right now it does look like it's wanting to do a near-term reversal. So when assets get extremely oversold, and I'm not talking about on the RSI, I'm just meaning in general. I mean, look at this thing, right? Since May 21st or May 24th, 2021, this thing has pretty much been a one-sided market straight down. Is it time for a pullback, or something like this? Maybe even, right? Bunch of choppy, nasty stuff for 6 to 8 weeks. You're in a trader's market. Embrace it. Love it. It's a lot better to be in a trader's market. It's a lot easier to just buy and hold when an asset's bullish, though. I understand that. I do. But right now, you're not. That's not the case. You're in a trader's market. So although we do look like we are finding a bit of support down here, are making what looks to be like a trap. So it does look like we may be looking for a little bit more bullish continuation on the euro. So if you want to look for bullish targets, do that. If you think it's going to roll over, short it. I don't care. I do not mind. Either way, could work. You could trade right up here and then find resistance and roll back over. We'll see what happens. So right now I will be bullish though on the euro, on the euro near term. Once we get above the 21 with a closure. We got above the 21 here, and look what happened, right? So brace yourself. What I say when I'm getting above the 21, I want to get long, I want to look for bullish entries, doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. It doesn't mean that price is going to continue either. It's just a higher probable scenario. So we'll just keep moving on, looking for stuff to do. The pound is under the 21 on the daily. You can see here, traded up into it overnight, and then on the intraday charts, we're seeing some craziness transpire. Look at this big strong breakout above, right back down, even took out the low of the breakout candle. So one could say on the intraday time frame, looks like you got a bull trap going on there. I'm not going to short it though, not right now, right? I need more data. I just need more data. Simple as that. If you want to get long, I don't like getting long into resistance, and that's exactly where you're at. You're into the 21, and there's old resistance right here. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get long into that. But if we get above it, maybe test this resistance or even over here and then get a pullback, maybe we can then look to get long. But we're still trying to pick a bottom at that because this thing is still making lower highs and lower lows. You need to get above this swing high before you can say you have a new higher high, right? Right now, they're all lower highs. So you get above that, then you can look for higher low support for potential trend change. Potential trend change. I'm sure everybody thought this was the trend change up here, right? So this is why I'm a day trader right here, because of this. It's impossible to know what's going to happen long term, but we can definitely nail 10 to 20 pips out of these daily ranges pretty consistently. Good morning, Heath. Check out what happens if BTC closes 3-month candle below the lowest close over previous 3 candles, and what happens? Well, what's going to happen if that occurs? Nobody knows. This is your quarterly, and your quarterly does look like it wants to go. It does. I mean, the quarterly looks like you got a bull flag going on there. But these were all bear markets also, right? This was a bear market. This wasn't really a bear market because I consider this all one cycle. So yeah, until you broke above the all-time high, this was just all one cycle. But you can see this was a lot of choppy sideways, and these are quarterly. So every 3 months, this candle forms. Last quarter got good, tested quarterly resist or support, and then it bounced. Right? That's all you can say about it. That's what happened. Tested quarterly support and you bounced. This quarter is inside of last quarter. So here's last quarter there and there. So what does this suggest? Well, it's choppy, sideways, range bound. They're trading inside of this quarter. This was, yeah. So why didn't this take out the high? Give me 1 second. This is wrong. Oh, that's fine. Never mind. Got it. This quarterly just opened, and we took out the yearly high, I guess, inside of this quarterly. So that would have been April. Let's see if we smoked the high before April. Otherwise, that's wrong. Yeah, just before April, March 29th. All right, so this new fresh yearly high happened right before the new quarter. So could this be, if you're looking on the quarterly ranges, like if you're watching the quarterly chart and you're taking entries based on that, could this first impulse move be the down move on the quarter? And what we're looking for the quarterly range expansion is for price to break out and then set in one of those scenarios, because that's how candlesticks work. Intraday, yes, exactly. You can be. I mean, there's no telling what it's going to do. So this is what this is what a candle looks like. And this is what your bullish candles look like. So is this first move on the first portion of the quarter? This is your first month of the quarter. Could this all be a move lower to draw traders off sides to get them bearish? It absolutely can. Right? Absolutely can. That's why we're watching the 21. If we get above that, we will treat it a little bit more bullish. We will look for bullish entries, but we're not going to expect something like that. We're just going to get prepared and positioned for something like that. But a breakdown and a close below would suggest that you're going lower, at least for the near term. But you got a long way to go. Right there is support. So you're trading as an inside candle. We'll see what happens, guys, right? I would love for Bitcoin to be bullish, because every time I short Bitcoin, all those profits, I'm just going to put them in the HODL account, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm shorting on an inverse swap contract, so I get paid in Bitcoin. Or if I'm wrong, I lose Bitcoin. And then I just take, when it gets to a specific size, I just take it out, put it over in the HODL account, and let it ride. So the higher Bitcoin goes, the happier I am. Forever and ever and ever. I am a perma bull, but I will short these things if it wants to go lower, because I like to put my capital to work. I don't want to just sit in a drawdown. So anybody that bought it up here, they've been sitting in a drawdown for months. You got to know that's painful to just see your account red every single day you wake up. Very painful. Well, I don't like to do that. I don't even like to close out a red week, let alone set in a red drawdown for months and months and months. I'd rather try to make more. So we'll see what happens. We're at a very pivotal spot, in my opinion. So when is the next quarter? June. This is the first quarter, first month in April, May, June. So yeah, the end of June, beginning July will be the half of the year, or the second quarter will be finished. So hopefully Bitcoin has broken out of this range one way or the other, because I truly believe if it does break down, it'll go down there and fill that gap on the CME chart, 26K. But gaps do not have to fill. That gap on the CME chart can remain there for the rest of Bitcoin's life, right? We don't know it's going to happen, but if it does, you still have a measured move off from that leg, this consolidation down to there. And that was a pretty good area to position myself short for that move. That didn't happen, but it's still early, still very early. I won't be aiming for 22 highs until you get above the 618 retracement of this range. Okay, so let's move on. Pound yen is just going to the moon. We were talking about getting long Aussie yen last week, looking for this as our target. We did break that. We did break out. I missed this trade. On this day, I had errands to run, so I was not sitting in front of the computer, and I missed it. But I was looking for that to happen. We tried to do it once over in here, and then we got stopped out. But this was our target. Our target was hit. This thing clearly just made support. This was a trap, if you will, and then you got the breakout. And that's what we were looking for to happen. That's what happened. There's nothing to do on it now. And I was saying that if you were going to see the yen potentially roll over, that you would just want to see a wick above that, and then you would want it to close back under. That would suggest that this would be just a liquidity run, and then you would get that relief rally on the yen. That's not happening. The yen is just going lower. It's going to zero. The yen is going to zero. Where is it at? There it is. Obviously, I'm joking when I say that the yen is going to zero, but I mean, damn, it looks like it is. That is one of the biggest moves we've seen in a long time. But if you look at all this, I mean, this is a daily chart. Look how choppy and sideways this was, and for how long, right? Even once you got the breakdown here, once it broke down, you got a nice trending move that took, weeks and weeks. And then look again, choppy range bound for a long time, very long time. Then a small breakdown, a lot of range, then a big breakdown, and it's still breaking down because people are trying to find the bottom. Just let it find its own bottom, please. We figure the Japanese government will get in control of this sooner or later, but we don't know how far they will let it go either, right? Currency can be manipulated simply. So we don't know what they're going to do, but that is insane. That is an insane move. Insane, and we missed it. All of that. That's terrible. I'm damn sure not wanting to be a buyer up here, right? Don't want to do that. When is he signals group? That's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Guys, signals groups don't work because they give half of you the winning signal, the other half the losing signal, and then they got a bot that just switches the names around. So occasionally you're going to get winning hits, occasionally you're going to take losing hits, but that's all they do, right? That's all they do. They cycle the losing hits. So that way it seems like you're doing good. But even with even with good signals, you're still going to lose money if you don't get your risk under control, man. You got to get that risk under control. You have to consistently risk the same amount of money each time. So that way you can see what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. If you're risking max leverage, max position, max everything, then your account's going to slowly bleed. Well, rapidly bleed. You'll be broke before the year's out. We're trying to gain capital, not lose it, not give it to the brokerage. DXY though might pump today. It might. It's at support. It could get a small bounce. But with what we're seeing, I mean, you're getting that small bounce now. You're probably going to have like not even today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it closes, but with what it looks like intraday, it looks like this thing's gonna pummel. This was a nice, big, strong bullish move. This was at ECB news. And then what continuation did we get from that? Nothing, right? We want to see more of this, like sideways and then a nice big expansion, then sideways and a nice big expansion. This is your ECB news. This is the liquidation to smoke everybody. Then the ECB news happens. Then boom, that smokes everybody to the upside. Then we were looking for bullish continuation. We did get it, but it's so slow and not really doing anything. Now that momentum is coming in here as this thing is breaking down. So we're probably going to see that continue. If anything, you might trade back up to like 100 to 120, $100, 20 cents, like this area here as a small range consolidation day. You know what I mean? Like Friday, if this closes here or lower, Friday will probably go up and test the midpoint of this candle and then just be choppy and sideways, right? So we're at a turning point potentially, for sure. But still, this thing is structured bullish. 21's under it, so we gotta still look for support to hold, because the trend is your friend, and it is until it changes. When you get below this down here, then you could potentially say that the trend has changed. Anything in here is going to be looked at as a pullback only, all right? Because this was a breakout. This was a consolidation and a breakout. So you could come all the way down to here, potentially find support. That would be the next area to look for it. But yeah, if you take out this swing low, then we're done looking for bullish dollar for a while. But it looks good. This is only the second quarter of the year. We got time. Got lots of time. What's next for Bitcoin? Ed says, brother, I wish I knew. If I did, you'd be the first to know. Ed's been with me for a very, very long time. So has a lot of you guys. Thank you so much. Aaron, thank you guys so much. Wes, fantastic. All right. Let's go talk about Luna real quick. See what it's doing, because it did look like it wanted to be bearish. It broke down, became bearish on the year. But we're bullish on the year again, and you're above the 21 again. Above the 50 on the daily again. However, you are into resistance. So are we going to buy this? No, we're not. The long entry will be anywhere or around this, right in here, right? So you took out yesterday's low today, and now you're getting a bullish bounce. So if it breaks out above this, then we'll move our level up, and we'll be watching for a potential support test of 95.05. That's if you get the breakout. But as of right now, I mean, this isn't a support candle, but as long as you're trading above it, it looks like it wants to break out. You did get this. This was a massive bullish candle. A lot bigger than any one of these candles in this whole entire chart. Is it the biggest candle year to date? Nope, this one is. Pretty big move. So, yeah, it looks like it wants to continue. Don't know if it will. It just looks like it wants to. So, on Luna, I would, be looking for potential bullish entries. If you get above this, next area is all the way up here at 112. So, that's a potential, $13, $14 move there. That can be a lot if you get like a 10-cent stop loss. That can be a big, big trade. So that's what we'll be looking for if it does break out. But you want to try to tag these lows, the daily lows. If you're looking for bullish entries, you're trying to get long at the low of day or around it at the intraday support, preferably. Still struggling to get to 42. Yeah, I think you're going to see it though. I mean, there's nothing else one can say about this. It looks good. If it does this and closes bearish again, then we'll start talking about, loading up on a short or looking for a short. But as long as it's bullish each and every day, we're not trying to short into strength. We want to short weakness, not strength. This wasn't necessarily this right here. See this? This is what I'm talking about. You traded up into the area we wanted to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days before you resolved, before you broke down. Me getting short here wasn't because I knew price was going to go lower. Me getting short here was because I wanted price to go lower. And then it did. And it was a fantastic trade. So that's what we're looking for again. And the 618 of this down move could potentially be there. The quarterly, keep that in mind. This first move lower can absolutely be the down move of a range expansion to the bullish side on the quarterly. For sure, it could happen. All right, let's see here. This is basically just a rant session anyways. You were wrong, unsubbed. Ray, love Ray. When he signals group, good morning, check what happened. Oh, we read that. All right, let me see here. One more proof that trend lines only screw you. Yes, guys, trend lines are very subjective. Very subjective. Everything in technical analysis is subjective except for price levels. This 618 fib retracement, that is subjective. Simply because someone could take the fib extension or the fib retracement tool and put it there. Therefore, their price is going to be different, right? Anytime that there's human intervention, it is subjective. 100% subjective. Everything in technical analysis. The only thing that isn't is that 42,766 is exactly where this candle closed. That is not subjective. That's why we know that is resistance or would potentially be resistance. But the price itself, the level itself is not subjective. And that is the only thing in technical analysis that isn't subjective. Everything else is bias, everything. It's all subjective. Trend lines, 100% subjective. All of them. I guess one could say that it's not subjective if you use, just the highs or just the closes. Then, but still, it doesn't mean it's going to work. I mean, this thing broke out of the trend line to the upside. It broke out of the trend line to the downside. But if you use the price chart, you can get a beautiful trend line to the top side right there. That's still intact. But on the line chart, you can't get that because the line chart is using the close of that bullish candle. Therefore, that changes everything if I use the close. See that? And then use this close over here. See that? That trend line is absolutely crazy. But yeah, you can break them out to the upside, then get right back in the range, break out to the downside, right back in the range. So that means this range is going to be with us for a long time. Sorry, I was reading. Let's see here. Poor Johnny. I don't know who Johnny is. As if people are blaming you for them getting stopped out. They are, I guess. I was wrong about something and they're upset. Not just one. If one, I'm okay, but two, it's probably the same guy though. Making sure that I know that he thinks I'm wrong. Can you please have a look at silver? Yeah. Oh, and let me just go ahead and say this. I was wrong about gold. I thought gold was going down, right? Because of real rates. But guess what? It went up. Now it's going down. But is this support? Yes. Will it hold? Who knows? It's trying to hold. It is trying to hold. So Are you bullish gold? Do you think gold's going to go higher? Well, if you are, this is a high probable area. So what I suggest you do is find the low edge of the range, which here we are right now. This is your low edge. And then get your supply zone. This is an old daily supply zone. So there's your demand right there. So if you get an hourly close below that demand, then you're probably going lower. As long as you keep digging at it, digging at it, digging at it, and not breaking and closing below it, it's probably going higher. Or it might go higher. Not probably, it might. Okay? But this is a lot of momentum coming into it. First and foremost, I want to be absolutely clear about that. And then this is a small range day, right? So big candles, small candles. So although it does look like it's trying to hold support, it could still break down. You could get a bounce up to this candle, and then it could roll over and get bearish continuation. But that's trading. That's trading. That's what we do. So what I would suggest on gold, and then we'll look at silver, but silver is going to be pretty much like gold. If this candle gets up here and takes out this candle's high, then I would look for a retest of this candle's open, and that's where I would take my entry. And then my stop would be under the bullish candle's low. Okay? That doesn't mean the trade is going to work at all. It just means, maybe it turns around here, maybe it doesn't. You got to figure out what you want in these trades. What is your objective? Your investment objective. What is it? But I thought it was going to go lower. It didn't. It went higher. So yeah, wrong again. Silver. Ooh, silver looks weaker than gold. Oof. All right, let's go to the daily. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, silver looks bad. See, now this is crazy because the dollar's going lower. This shouldn't be going lower. Not with the dollar going lower. The dollar and the dollar, gold, silver, they should all be trading. Silver and gold should trade similar, and it should be opposite the dollar. But it's not. So, but is this just a stop run? It's likely. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it, right? It's not likely. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it. So like if it was going to find support here, it is at an old support. This is support. There's the breakdown, right? It could test that one. It could test that one and that one. There's 3 levels of potential support here. But right now it's playing with this one. Right now it's playing with that one. Intraday, it looks bad. But if it holds up here, if you do not close an hourly below that, you could get a bounce up to resistance. So that's a small range to play. I myself would take profits here because that is supply. So I wouldn't take this long, but let's say it was producing something I liked here. Yeah, I would get long and I would target that. Take my profits, move my stop. Because I know that it could reverse here and go right back lower for the near term order flow. But the longer you stretch it out, the harder it gets. It's sideways. So maybe this bullish pop, because we were looking for a resistance to hold. Now that you're back there, that's not really bullish depending on how it holds, if it holds. So it took 4 to 5 days to get up there. It only took 3 to get back there. But it can hold. I mean, look at this. That looked bearish too. And then you did get a move later. So very small, tight range. That's your area to watch for potential support. The only reason is because it's your old supply zone. Those typically can react or, can act as support if price gets above it. And this is the first time it's tested, to be honest. Give it a couple days. If you're like basing here like gold is doing, then maybe potentially you can look for bullish entries. Like gold is doing here. See how gold is, you've tested the level 3 times now. 1, 2, and today makes 3. If it holds today, If it closes bullish today, I would potentially be looking for long entries on gold. But since I'm a day trader, I'm only ever targeting daily high or daily low. The day we're on. I'm not targeting this daily high if I get long here. I'll be targeting today's high if I got long there. This bearish candle's open is the high. That's where I'd be taking my profits, but not at it, close to it, right? We take profits ahead of it. But it's at a pivotal juncture, like everything else. Like everything else. The rest of this week is probably going to be no trades for me. Unless I see something I absolutely love. And I'm not seeing it on forex, and I'm not seeing it in crypto either. Euro looks like that, pound looks like that. See, pound's getting up there. There it is. Mr. Ed, remember this? You said, what the F is pound doing? Now look, it's probably going higher. This is what I said. There it is. I didn't take it though, because that's nasty. That's difficult to trade. Good morning, good morning, good mornings. I am never wrong. Heath, right. USD, JPY looking like it's losing steam. Yeah, but man, oh man, right? I guess you could take the short. You're just risking 1%. It does look like it wants to go lower. Did not quite test resistance, but it does look like you maybe got a fib test of this range. Yeah, you got a 618 test. So if we go intraday, not quite the test. And then boof. So this right here, you know what I mean? I would have been, potentially looking for it to go all the way back up to this close and then reject. You didn't get it. What do we do on it now? Now nothing, right? Where's the open? Right here is your open. So this is your low of day. You're really close to it. You're closer to the low of day than you are the high of day. So the entry would have been somewhere in here. Even potentially on that candle. Because, this is supply, but sometimes the wicks, sometimes they won't go all the way to the body. Sometimes it'll just stop at the wick. You can see how it didn't stop exactly at the wick. It still pushed up a little bit. But that would have been the entry. And then it's still early also, right? 2 hours from now, this thing could be trading up at 128. It's just choppy, difficult. MCL, please. Is that a stock? Is that a crypto? Oh, it's not a crypto. So what is this? Oil futures? All right, let's see what the daily looks like. So, all right, so this looks like it's just tracking US oil. So let's just use US oil. It's the same. Is the price the same? MCL. So we got 103.19, 102.97. So the price isn't the same. So we'll watch this one. Oil is range bound. Since you did make this big expansion here, you went back, you tested support, and it held. There's support. So not a blow off. If you would have continued, you would have had a blow off on your hands, but this is not a blow off. This is a bounce off support, but the bounce got shallower. Another support test here. You're getting another leg up. So, I mean, if you want to put a trend line on there, you can. It probably won't match. It won't match. But you do got something like that, right? It's wedging up. So what I would do today on oil is I would probably be looking for shorts. And I would only be targeting today's low. Simply because you did a run on yesterday's high and you're pulling back. So we'll mark yesterday's high. Go into intraday right here. Boom. Now you haven't closed below support yet. So I would be watching that level and this level for entry. Short. And then I'm only targeting yesterday's low, which I'm not sure if this thing starts at 1800 hours or not, but that would be about where I'd be targeting. So entry here, target there, but I'd be taking profits before that level, right? I'd probably take profits at 102.18. But it has to get back up there to test it, and it has to fail. A close above it scraps the trade. A close above scraps the trade, because then that means it's probably looking to go higher. Man, this thing is volatile as crap. Big moves. But figuring out what directional bias is it going now. I mean, if you look at the way it's losing steam, it looks like you might be heading lower again for another test of support. Or is it going to make another high and come up here and test these highs? We don't know. We don't know, guys. It would be nice if we did. But watch 103.96 and 103.57, and you definitely do not want to see an hourly close above either one of those. Otherwise, the trade will be scrapped. Gold putting in bearish engulfing on the weekly. Ugh, is it? It did. It is. You're right. You took out the high and the low. I would rather see that, occur. Yeah, I mean, it technically can. Weekly res held also. And the next weekly support is down at 1924. So yeah, we'll watch to see if it closes. I'd like to see it close below the low of that bullish candle to kind of cement, if you will, that bearish engulfing. And then we can watch for weekly tests of gold back up to 1973 for short side entries. But you're still trying to pick a top. And if you look at this, it does look like it's trying for bullish continuation, but it's having trouble at that weekly resistance. Is all one could say about it. Big strong pop that took weeks, week. And now you've been consolidating for a month and a half or so. So yeah, I mean, range bound, like most of everything else. Pound is crazy. Bitcoin is moving. Which way is it going? It's up. Going up. What do we got on the hourly? I mean, we just looked at it a little bit ago. You're right. It did get that nice little squeeze. So let's see. Would I want to say that this is a stop run? No, simply because you put in this trap down here. So you have to look for bullish continuation. Also, this nasty trap here, right? This nasty trap was followed through with bullish continuation. So it looks like you put in another nasty little trap and you're getting bullish continuation. I don't want to buy it still though, guys. I need to buy it off support. It needs to break out and I need to get it, let it come back in and find support. And then I'll look to be a buyer of it. But as of right now, there's nothing to do because there's nothing that says this thing won't just turn around right now. Remember, you got the 21 right there. And then you have like 2 resistance levels there. You got 2 old support levels right there. I mean, one could go crazy trying to figure out. I mean, any one of these areas could potentially act as resistance. So I guess, yeah, the day trade is to wait. And we're still really early. It's just 6:30. The New York session don't start till 8 a.m. And that's when the majority of the volume will be thrown down around that area. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. If you want to buy it on a smaller time frame, like if these little hourly candles get you excited, then watch for support. Right? If you want to buy it at the top, see if support holds. It's just the hourly support and it's only... Yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to take a bullish entry there, especially since you just made a new high of day. I do not like breakout trading. Getting long, targeting high of day is one thing. But getting long at high of day, no. NZD, AUD. Well, we both paired against the yen. We did talk about it a little bit. It's already happened. The move that we were looking for happened. Right? This was the level we were targeting, and it happened. Right there. Boom. So now you're just sitting in it. If you got long down here targeting that level, which is what we were looking to do, we just didn't do it. There's no trade to take now. It doesn't look like a short. You're trading inside of yesterday's range. For a bearish signal, you would want to see at least an engulfing. And then still, that doesn't mean it's going to go higher. I mean, lower. But that's what I would be looking for, like a big, nasty engulfing. Then maybe I would look for shorts and entries. I definitely don't want to long it either. I mean, this thing is extended. You're putting in bearish divergence, which we already knew that. It was putting in bearish divergence. Well, you did pull in bearish divergence and then didn't do anything after. No bearish continuation. Yeah, it looks disgusting. There's nothing to do on it. If you want to trade the intraday, then I guess look for resistance to hold, but it's sideways and disgusting. And the reason this thing keeps moving higher is because retail keeps trying to pick the top. Eventually, they will get it. This thing will pull back eventually. And there's no way to tell how far the pullback will be or anything, but so there's nothing to do on that. Let's see what NZD looks like. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. Now, NZD does look a little bit weaker. So that was the target. Yesterday, you hit it. And yesterday was a very small range day. You're trading as an inside day on it as well, because that's the yen. That's what the yen is doing right now. As long as the dollar's going down, you will have strength on your NZD and on Aussie. So you could look to see which one is weaker out of the two. Let me go over here to FinViz real quick and just see which one is weaker out of the two. NZD is the weakest pair on the day. All right. It's the weakest pair on the day. NZD is. So if you want to look for shorts at or around resistance. So this is the old high, not necessarily a resistance level, but that would be to watch 87.09 for a potential short target, low of day. But you're getting close to that already, because it's a very small range day. It's an inside day, trading inside yesterday's range, trading inside yesterday's high and yesterday's low. So watch 87.09 for resistance and hourly close above that, and then you don't have a trade on your hands. And it might already have happened. This might have been the entry right there. So I would need that before I would look to short this, because your stop's going to have to go up here at least. And if you take the short now and put your stop up there, then that's just disgusting. You're not even going to be getting a 1-to-1 for your target. So the risk to reward is just not there. But if it gets back up to 87.09, yeah, I will watch it for sure. Not Aussie, but this one, because NZD is the weakest on the day. You know why Elon takes so long? Because Starlink Dish is best served cold. Thank you, my friend. It'll get here one of these days. Maybe check out XMR. Monero. Let's go look at it. It looks bullish. Oh yeah, this was one of the ones that I was watching for potential shorts, because it had so much meat on the bone. If you look at the year-to-date chart, you're bullish, right? So you have to look for bullish entries. But there's no bullish entry to take today. The bullish entry was yesterday, because there's support. In hindsight, always look to take your entries close to support, right? No matter what. No matter where you are on the chart. If you're bullish and you want to buy it at the potential high, buy it at support at least. As if you buy it right now and it reverses, then you will have bought the high. And that's never fun. You're into resistance. So I mean, pretty big resistance up here. But we'll see what happens. It's bullish. It's bullish on the year. It's bullish yesterday. It's bullish today. So wait for a pullback into support and then look for that support. Watch to see if the support holds. There's nothing to do on it. Not today. Amazon. Let's go look at Amazon. Where are you at, Amazon? So Tesla had good earnings yesterday. Tesla's trading, or last night, it was trading back up at 1028 because of earnings. I don't know where it's trading today. That's all the data we got right there. So Tesla might be breaking out today. Then again, it might be right back down here when it opens. Who knows? But they had good earnings. When is Amazon's earnings? That is a bullish candle. There's resistance. There's the breakout. I'd be watching support. That's support. So on today's open, a spike down at 30.34.13 could potentially be a bullish entry. But I don't, like I said, this, for some reason, it doesn't show intraday data yet on TradingView. We need the brown part. Maybe it comes next hour. But that's where I'd be looking for potential support. You could get a spike down to there and then back up. That would be where I'd want to look for bullish entries. NZD had CPI last night, was missed. Right, okay. Yeah, NZD, we'll watch NZD in on the day. We'll see what happens, right? We'll look for a resistance. Chances are it's already had its move. Amazon for 11-1 Fed, BOE, ECB of all speeches today. Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. And Frank says, thanks for your opinion with a heart. That's all this is ever, guys. It's only always my opinion, and we know how opinions are. Everybody's got one, right? So that's all it is. You guys make sure you have a fantastic day. I guess we'll watch Amazon and NZD. There's nothing to do on Bitcoin, so we'll just wait to see how it closes out today. Is it above the 21? Is it below the 21? Those are going to be questions I'm going to be asking myself. Saturday's video will be out on time, and will depend, wherever we are will depend on how I will be looking for next week. Right now, if the trend continues next week, I'm probably going to be looking for longs, especially if we close above that 21. We have to get back below it for me to be bearish again, because the 21 it's the most quickest moving average, so that's why I watch it. But in choppy range bound conditions, you can get chopped up watching that 21 exponential moving average. You'll be above it today and back below it tomorrow. That type of crap. But I don't know where Amazon is. If Amazon is gapping up above where it closed out yesterday, if it's gapping up above $3,000, $3,092, I will not be looking for that, right? If it's gapping way up. If it's gapping up, then there's no trade on it, in my opinion. But if it's like right in this area, then maybe a spike, but that'd be a big bearish spike too. So I wouldn't take the first tack of it. I would want to see that it holds. You guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section after YouTube is done uploading the video, and I will answer them. I answer every single question. So yeah, drop it down in there. Make sure you smash the likes. We will see you next week for the live stream. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.